After letting my husband's parents stay in our vacation cabin for the winter, they removed my name from the booking. We made a few changes, they said. I smiled. Fine. I sold the reservation and left. They learned they were left without a trip. So there I was, thinking I was being the good daughter-in-law, you know? Like, really trying to make things work with my husband's parents, who've never exactly rolled out the red carpet for me. But hey, I figured maybe a nice winter cabin trip could be our chance to finally bond or whatever. Picture this. Cozy little cabin up in the mountains, the kind of place where you can see your breath inside until you get that fireplace crackling. I'd been planning this trip for months, scrolling through Airbnb like it was my job, comparing prices, reading reviews, the whole 9 yards. Finally found this perfect spot. 3 bedrooms, hot tub on the deck, kitchen stocked with everything you'd need to make some bomb hot chocolate after a day in the snow. The booking was under both my name and my husband's, split the cost 50-50. Because that's how we roll in our marriage. Equal partners and all that jazz. His parents had been dropping hints about wanting to join us for weeks, doing that thing where they're not directly asking, but making it super obvious they want an invite. You know what I mean? Oh, that sounds lovely. We haven't had a proper vacation in ages, followed by these meaningful looks. My husband, bless his heart, is one of those people who can't say no to his parents. Like, physically cannot do it. So, naturally, when they started their hint campaign, he caved faster than a house of cards in a tornado. Babe, maybe we could invite them along. It would mean a lot to them. Now, I'm not heartless. I get it. Family's important, and these folks are getting up there in age. Plus, the cabin had 3 bedrooms, so it's not like we'd all be camping out in the living room together. I figured we could make it work. Maybe even have some fun, play some cards, share stories by the fire, create some actual good memories for once. So I said yes. And man, did I regret that decision real quick. The first red flag should have been when my mother-in-law called me directly instead of going through her son. She never calls me, like, ever. Usually all communication goes through my husband because apparently I'm not worthy of direct contact or something. But there she was on my phone, sweet as pie, talking about how excited they were and how grateful they felt that I was allowing them to join our trip. Allowing. Like it was my cabin or something. Like I was the gatekeeper of their winter wonderland. Dreams. But whatever, I brushed it off. Maybe she was genuinely trying to be nice. Maybe this trip really would be the turning point in our relationship. Hope springs eternal and all that, right? Update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the support so far. Just want to clarify. Yes, I know I should have seen this coming from a mile away, but sometimes you want to believe people can change, you know? Anyway, the story gets way worse from here. Should I have just canceled the whole thing right then and there? The second red flag came about a week later. My husband mentioned, super casually while we're watching Netflix and sharing a bag of Doritos, that his parents wanted to adjust the sleeping arrangements. Apparently, they didn't feel comfortable sharing the smaller guest room and wondered if they could have the master bedroom instead. I'm sitting there with a nacho chip halfway to my mouth trying to process this. The master bedroom that I specifically chose when booking, because it had the amazing mountain view and the ensuite bathroom with the jetted tub I'd been looking forward to soaking in after long days hiking in the snow. They want our room? I asked, trying to keep my voice level. Well, they are getting older, and Dad's back has been acting up. The master has the better mattress. I could see where this was heading. Next thing I knew, I'd be sleeping on the pull-out couch while they lived it up in luxury. But I'm a reasonable person, so I said fine. We could take one of the other rooms. It's not about the room, it's about spending time together as a family, right? Wrong. So very, very wrong. The calls kept coming. Could they arrive a day early to get settled? Could they extend their stay by a few days since they were having such a hard time finding other winter accommodations? Could they invite their friends the Johnsons to join for part of the trip because they'd mentioned how lovely it sounded? Each request came with this guilt trip undertone, like I'd be the worst person alive if I said no. And each time, my husband would give me these puppy dog eyes and talk about how it would make his parents so happy, how we should be generous, how family comes first. I felt like I was slowly losing control of my own vacation, but I kept saying yes because I didn't want to be the bad guy. You know how it is. Sometimes you get so caught up in trying to keep the peace that you forget to stand up for yourself. The final straw came 3 days before we were supposed to leave. I was at work, dealing with my own stress because January is always crazy busy in my line of work when I got a text from the cabin rental company. Something about changes to your reservation and asking me to call them back. I'm thinking maybe there's an issue with the property, like maybe the hot tub is broken or something. No big deal. Stuff happens. So I call them back during my lunch break, sitting in my car in the Target parking lot, picking at a sad desk salad. Hi, this is about the reservation for the cabin next weekend. We received a request to modify the booking details. Okay, what kind of modifications? Well, the primary renter wants to remove one of the names from the reservation and add some additional guests. We just need to confirm this change with both parties since it was originally booked under 2 names. My heart started doing this weird skippy thing. I'm sorry, remove which name? Let me check. Yes, they want to remove your name and add 2 additional guests, a Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. I sat there in my Chevy, engine off, heater not working great, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. They wanted to remove my name from the reservation, the vacation I'd planned, researched, and paid half for, and add their friends who I'd never even met. Can you hold on for just a minute? I asked, my voice somehow staying steady even though inside I was screaming. I immediately called my husband, straight to voicemail, called again, voicemail, texted him, call me now in all caps, nothing. So I called my mother-in-law directly. Oh, hi, sweetie, she answered, and I could hear that fake sweet tone she uses when she knows she's been caught doing something shady. How are you? I just got a call from the cabin rental company. They said you want to remove my name from the reservation? Silence. Then, well, we were talking with Dad, and we realized it might be easier to handle the booking ourselves since we'll be staying longer than originally planned. You understand, don't you? We made a few changes to make everything work better for everyone. A few changes, like I was just some minor detail that could be edited out of the equation. And the Johnsons? Oh, they're such lovely people, and they're going through a rough patch. We thought it would be nice to invite them along. You don't mind, do you? Mind. I was sitting there realizing that they'd essentially hijacked my entire vacation, turned it into their own personal retreat, and were acting like I should be grateful for the privilege of being excluded. But here's the thing about me. I don't do confrontation well in the moment. I'm one of those people who thinks of the perfect comeback about 3 hours later while I'm in the shower. So instead of unleashing the fury that was building up inside me, I just said, fine. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad you understand. You're such a sweet girl. Sweet girl, right? I hung up and sat there for a minute, watching people push their carts through the Target parking lot, living their normal lives while mine was apparently being rewritten without my consent. Then I called the rental company back. Hi, this is about the cabin reservation. I need to clarify something about these changes. Of course, what can I help you with? The reservation was booked under 2 names and paid for by 2 people, correct? Yes, that's right. So technically, both parties would need to agree to any major changes, right? Well, yes, that's our standard policy for joint bookings. Great. I don't agree to the changes. In fact, I'd like to cancel the reservation entirely and get my refund. There was a pause. Are you sure? The cancellation policy for winter bookings is pretty strict. You'd lose about 40% of your deposit. I'm sure. But as soon as I hung up, a better idea started forming. See, my husband and I had talked about maybe selling our spot if we couldn't use it, since winter cabin rentals are super popular and people pay premium prices. I'd actually looked into it earlier just out of curiosity. So instead of canceling, I called the rental company back and asked about their policy on transferring reservations. Turns out, as long as the new renter met their requirements and paid the transfer fee, it was totally doable. Update. Okay, so some of you are asking why I didn't just talk to my husband first. Fair question. But honestly, I was so hurt and angry that they'd gone behind my back that I wasn't thinking clearly. Plus, he'd been dodging my calls, which felt like he was already choosing sides. Was I wrong to make this decision without him? Within 2 hours, I had the booking transferred to this lovely couple from Colorado who were desperately looking for a last-minute winter getaway. They paid me full price plus a little extra for the short notice, actually made more money than I would have gotten back from the refund. Then I went home and started packing. Not for the cabin trip, obviously, but for a different kind of getaway. See, I have this friend from college who moved to San Diego and had been bugging me to visit for years. Perfect time for some beach therapy instead of mountain drama. My husband came home around 7, carrying Chinese takeout and acting like nothing had happened. Hey babe, how was your day? I got us some General Tso's from that place you like. I was sitting at our kitchen table with my laptop open, browsing flights to San Diego. It was interesting. How was yours? Pretty good. Oh, Mom called and said, she talked to you about the cabin thing. Thanks for being so cool about everything. I know it's not exactly what we planned, but actually, I need to tell you something. He set down the takeout bags and looked at me, probably picking up on my tone. What's up? I sold our cabin reservation. You what? Sold it. Transferred the booking to someone else. Made a nice little profit, actually. The color drained from his face. But we're supposed to leave in 3 days. My parents, their friends. Your parents wanted to remove my name from the booking and turn it into their own private vacation, so I figured they could handle finding their own accommodations. You can't be serious. Dead serious. I'm flying to San Diego tomorrow morning. Going to spend some time with Katie, work on my tan, maybe learn to surf. Should be fun. I'll never forget the look on his face, like he was trying to process information that didn't compute. But what am I supposed to tell my parents? Tell them exactly what they told me, that a few changes were made. That's when his phone started ringing. His mom, obviously. She must have gotten a call from the rental company about the booking transfer. He looked at the caller ID, then at me, then back at the phone. Aren't you going to answer it? I asked sweetly. He declined the call. Smart man. Babe, look, I know they can be difficult, but this is extreme. They're going to be devastated. And what about our vacation? What about us spending time together? Us? There was no us in their plan. There was them, their friends, and maybe you if you were lucky. I wasn't even going to be on the booking anymore. I didn't know they were going to do that, but you knew something was up. That's why you weren't answering my calls earlier. His phone rang again. This time he did answer it, and I could hear his mother's voice from across the room. She was not happy. There was a lot of, how could she, and this is unbelievable, and we had everything planned. After he hung up, we sat in silence for a while. The General Tso's was getting cold, but neither of us was hungry anymore. So what happens now? He asked finally. Now you decide whether you want to spend your vacation dealing with your parents' drama or come to San Diego with me. I booked an extra ticket, just in case. You did? I did. But if you choose to stay and help them figure out alternative accommodations, I get it. Just know that I'm done being treated like an afterthought in my own life. Update. Hey everyone. Thanks for sticking with me through this crazy story. Just wanted to give you a heads up that this is where things get really interesting. My husband had to make a choice, and let me tell you, nobody saw this coming. Are you ready for the plot? Twist that changed everything? The next morning, I woke up to find my husband packing his own suitcase. Turns out, when he called his parents back the night before to try to smooth things over, they'd blamed the entire situation on me, called me manipulative, selfish, ungrateful, the whole 9 yards, said I'd always been trouble and that he needed to choose between his family and his wife. So he chose his wife. Booked himself on the same flight to San Diego. I should have stood up for you from the beginning, he said while folding his favorite Nirvana t-shirt into his carry-on. I kept thinking I could make everyone happy, but all I did was make you miserable. We spent 5 amazing days in San Diego, surfed at La Jolla, ate fish tacos in Ensenada, watched the sunset from Sunset Cliffs. No drama, no guilt trips, no walking on eggshells, just us, remembering why we fell in love in the first place. Meanwhile, his parents were blowing up both our phones with increasingly frantic messages. Apparently, finding last-minute winter accommodations in January is nearly impossible, especially when you're trying to book for 4 people and you're picky about amenities. Who would have thought? They ended up spending their vacation at a motel near the highway, the kind of place where you have to pay extra for towels and the heater sounds like a dying whale. The Johnsons, those lovely friends they just had to invite, bailed when they found out about the accommodations downgrade. But here's the kicker. While we were sipping margaritas on the beach, I got a call from the couple who'd bought our cabin reservation. They were having the time of their lives, posting pictures on social media of the hot tub, the mountain views, the cozy fireplace dinners, everything I'd originally planned for. Thank you so much for selling this to us, the wife said when she called to rave about the place. This is exactly what we needed. We'll definitely book here again next year. When we got back home, my husband had a long conversation with his parents about boundaries and respect. It wasn't pretty, but it was necessary. They apologized eventually, though I could tell they still thought I'd overreacted. But you know, what? I didn't care anymore. Sometimes people need to learn that actions have consequences, even when those people are family, especially when those people are family. The funny thing is, removing me from that booking was supposed to put me in my place, remind me that I was just the daughter-in-law, not real family. Instead, it showed me exactly how much power I actually had and gave me the courage to use it. My husband and I are stronger now. He learned to prioritize our marriage over keeping his parents happy, and I learned that sometimes you have to be willing to blow things up to get the respect you deserve. And next winter, we're booking another cabin, just the 2 of us this time. The reservation will be under both our names, and it's staying that way. As for his parents, they're welcome to plan their own vacation. Maybe they'll remember to book early this time, or maybe they'll spend another winter at the Motel 6 near the interstate. Either way, it's not my problem anymore. Sometimes the best revenge really is living well, preferably with a good tan and 0 drama.